All right, a little bit of a different vibe. Excuse me, sorry. I was supposed to talk into the microphone. So I'm trying to set up a run and gun podcast style filming thing. At least the audio in this video will be pretty good, and hopefully the background ambiance will be good as well too. We are in the recording studio up at the thrift store. Crazy to think that a thrift store has a recording studio. And it's not just me. I'm joined today by my buddy, Matt. How the hell am I going to turn this camera around, turn the viewfinder around, and still hold, you know what? I'm going to have to, hold on. There we go, see? Matt.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, boy, what's going on with your brother?
It's another day in paradise.
Matt, let me see how you're holding that mic. Yeah, you got that right there. You got to hold it like this, though, because that's like how the cool people in the videos hold it.
Okay.
There you go. Good deal. We're going to make you hip here, Matt. Hey, we're over here on After Prison Show, and for those who may not be familiar with you, I just want to introduce you a little bit for a refresher, I guess. Matt, you're an awesome person. You've been rocking with me for the longest time, video-wise. You're a local guy to where I'm at, business owner. You got a really good junk removal service that you do. Retired military veteran, Marine, and also a guy who has helped considerably with a previous guest of After Prison Show.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So you did this unbelievable kind gesture for a past guest of After Prison Show who unfortunately has found themselves in a not so great situation. A guy by the name of Tom. You know, before we go any further, let's talk about how you and Tom first get together and what was the rationale and reasoning behind why you wanted to do the kind deed that you would for him?
Okay. So the rationale behind why I wanted to do it was I was going to go get a new vehicle, and I figured you guys at the time were looking for a vehicle for Tom. So I went to his place of work, and I knew I wasn't going to get a lot for my car on a trade-in. So I went to where he worked, and it's right down the street from where I grew up. And I left my business card with the manager. And then Tom reached out from there, and we finally met up, of course, to give him the car, because the car wasn't going to bring me a lot of value. It did more for him than it would have for me on a trade-in. So I just thought, what a great, something good to do for somebody that really needed it, and gave him the car and slid him a little bit of money. And that way he had some kind of foundation to stand on to get his stuff back together.
I just got to jump in here real quick. And Matt, you're being extremely modest here. Matt would give Tom a whole ass car, not just any car, neither. A car that Matt says he wouldn't have got a lot of value for. For whatever reason, people on the internet are like unbelievable fans of Toyota, right? So Toyota, anything is like, you gave him a Toyota Highlander, right?
I did. I don't know if you're going to believe this or not, but I want to make sure you had a car.
Come on, bro.
Dude, you can have the car.
People think very highly of that vehicle, and Toyotas, they hold their value. It's a reliable vehicle. It was a nice damn car. It could have been a frickin' in anything. The fact that you gave that man a car and then you said you slid him a couple of dollars, Matt gave Tom $500.
This is what happens whenever you have 3 years sobriety and you're trying to help people and you're selfless.
I guess.
Because I'm also going to give you $500. All right? This is going to help you help other people. I had a good month. No, I just wanted to make sure that he had enough money to register the car, to not have to worry about paying, fees or anything like that. He could get the tags and all that. So that's the reason behind giving him the $500.
Well, good for you, man. I'm not holding the mic anymore, so hopefully we got the audio still. The crazy damn thing about this is this isn't the first time that somebody who rocks with After Prison Show, I should say, gave somebody that I featured a car. This actually happened to Banky as well, and it probably happened another time. I feel like it did. I can't remember, and forgive me if that sounds horrible. Ain't nobody giving me no goddamn... Sorry. But unbelievably kind gesture that Matt does for Tom. We're going to talk a lot more about that. But one thing that I want to mention is something that maybe we never really shared. Maybe when Tom was still around, maybe we did share about this. But for those of you who don't know this, let me let you know, karma. It's something that I really believe in. It's something that, if you do good, you put good out there, good's going to come back to you. Matt gives Tom a whole car, $500, and literally the next day, his entire world falls apart.
So yeah, the next day, the dump truck that I use for junk removal completely crapped itself out and ended up costing me about 10 grand to fix. Not only that, but when I gave Tom the car, I had to get the tags eventually, and I got T-boned by another driver in an Uber. I was T-boned in an Uber.
No, we're getting way ahead of ourselves right here. There was something else that you forgot about. Your box truck broke down. I mean, not your box truck. Your dump truck broke down for your junk removal. Then you realized it was going to be so expensive to get the dump truck fixed. You went out and tried to go a little bit on the cheaper side and get you a trailer.
I did. I went out and financed a dump trailer.
You still have that dump trailer?
I do not. I sold it.
I'm not trying to laugh about this because there is nothing funny about what happened to Matt when he gave Tom this car and this money. The next day, Matt's dump truck breaks down. That dump trailer that you ended up with, that wasn't the first one that you tried to buy, though, was it?
It was not.
I thought you got scammed for a dump trailer.
Oh, Joe, I did. I completely forgot about that.
Why are we beating around the bush? I'm thinking to myself, are you embarrassed by this?
No, I just completely forgot. I was on Marketplace, and it's funny. My girlfriend said, "Oh, I know these people," and they asked for $500 up front for it was $1,000 trailer, and to me, I thought it was too good to be true, and I'll never forget telling my girlfriend, like, "Hey, if you know them, okay, I'll send them the $500 deposit and I'll go pick up." And then they said it didn't go through. So I sent them another $500 thinking that it didn't go through. Stupid me. The whole thing was a scam. Somebody got onto their Facebook, used their account, and was using this trailer, which was never a thing. It was a picture of a trailer, and the trailer never existed. So I was out $1,000 of my own personal money, not business money.
So let me make sure this timeline's correct. Matt gives Tom a car, $500. Next day, dump truck breaks down, finds a trailer on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000, gets scammed out of that, then would end up buying a dump trailer or financing one, and that dump trailer had a whole bunch of problems or something, right?
That dump trailer had a lot of issues.
Didn't you go to try to dump it? It wouldn't dump.
The very first time I ever tried to dump it, the battery, I guess, died or whatever it was, died, and I ended up having to offload this entire dump trailer. It was a 6 by 12 foot dump trailer by hand with concrete and drywall. And the battery kept dying. So I would buy a new battery, that would die. And that's exactly what happened for the longest time. So I ended up just using it for whatever I could until I could get the dump truck fixed, which took about 6 months.
Let me ask you this real quick. At any point during all of this bad that was taking place, did you ever think to yourself, like, I don't know, maybe like, why me? Or potentially, did you regret, giving Tom the car? Did you ever put those like two and two together? Like, God bless it, is Tom the devil? Like, did this guy just put some black magic on me? Like, what the hell? I did something good. How was all this bad taking place?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did? Wow, I didn't think you were going to say yes. Okay.
I thought about it a lot. Like, I'm a kind of person that I will give the shirt off my back if it helps somebody else, because, I mean, really, later on down the road, you'll get it back. It doesn't matter. You don't do it for the views. You don't do it for the good. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And there was a lot of times where I was ready to just wrap up the whole business, thinking why something like that happened to that extreme after I just did something where I thought I'll put some good in the world and help somebody out.
Yeah.
And then just got crapped all over.
When all of this was taking place with Matt, I'm thinking to myself, man, Tom, you got to give Matt this car back. And Tom and I actually talked about that. And I want to give Tom credit here because Tom was ready to give Matt the car back. And we went to Matt. We filmed a video about this, but I don't think that I ever shared that video because I think it was just a little too silly. And I remember part of the video, y'all were doing a toilet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
There was no sense in me sharing this video because that's really essentially all it turned into was Tom helping you to replace a toilet. But that video started off with us going over to your house, ready to give the car back, and you didn't want it.
No. At that point, I didn't see the value in taking the car back. I already got another truck. It just would have been a burden now to take it back, re-register it, and basically everything I gave Tom, I would have had to repay for. So I wouldn't have took it back. And besides, if he ever got put in a bad spot, that Highlander had a lot of room to sleep in, you know.
I think he actually was living out of that thing.
Yeah, I believe he ended up doing some hood Uber stuff and then sleeping in it in some really nefarious places.
And the reason that you know these things is because the vehicle was still registered in your name for the longest time, and you were getting these tolls that were coming through at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
$80 in tolls in like 3 weeks.
And, you know, this is not to put out anything about, you know, Tom or anything like that. I really just wanted to reintroduce Matt because of the good that he did for Tom and because of the fact that, you know, it basically is just coming out now with the phone call that I just recently had from Jellicoe in jail, and Tom's in there with him. Did you know that Tom was locked up?
You want me to go there, Joe?
You
Yes.
address this out however you want to address this, and you can be as real or as...
Absolutely. I'll keep it 100% here.
You knew he was locked up?
I knew he was locked up, and the only reason why I knew he was locked up is because I got about 12 calls in a row on one single day from the city jail. And whenever they call you, it's like a collect call. It tells you who it's from, and it kept saying from Tom, from Tom, from Tom. So I finally just blocked the number because it's like an old girlfriend. You really don't want to revisit the past, and you don't want to go down that rabbit hole anymore. So, yeah, I just blocked that number. I called you and let you know. And here we are, you know, a month later, and Jellicoe calls, and Tom's locked up again.
So without going any further in depth with things and just kind of getting to a point to ball all of this up, you know, things obviously didn't end well between Matt and Tom. And that's super unfortunate when you think of somebody who does so much good for you and tries to help you, and then for whatever reason that situation just becomes soured and tarnished. I also forgot to mention, and I want to mention this, and I'm going to catch hell for doing so, but, you know, when we tried to give the car back, or at least, you know, convince Tom, and Tom was on board with giving the car back at the time, Matt didn't want the car back, but I did give Matt like $300. It was a drop in the bucket. It didn't amount to shit. But I said, hey, look, at that point, he had just gotten scammed for the $1,000 with the trailer. The dump truck had blown up. You know, Matt was in a screwed up situation trying to keep his life afloat in business, and everything was just kind of crumbling down at that point. So, you know, I guess I want to just give myself a little kudos for trying to help out and feeling bad. You know, genuinely, I felt bad about everything that was taking place and thinking to myself, my God, how do I always have a way of ending up in a situation where things are just ending up bad?
You want to know what happened to the $300, Joe?
No, I mean, yeah, what happened, I guess?
I gave it to Tom.
All right, we're done. Okay. I'm sure he needed it more than you needed it.
He replaced 2 toilets.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I did leave. I forgot. I left while y'all were doing that because I got bored with it. I was like, they're just replacing toilets.
Yeah. And it stunk really bad.
Yeah. So The deal is this, you knew that Tom was locked up. Of course I knew that Tom was locked up too. I knew before you knew that Tom was locked up. I look every single day to see who's locked up, and, I saw it a while back. And then I get the phone call from you. I was still working at the job that I had, and you said, hey, I'm getting these phone calls. What should I do? In fact, you hadn't blocked him yet at that point.
Right.
And I said, Matt, that's a decision that you need to make. You need to do what's best for you. You're either going to rip that Band-Aid off, and God only knows where that's going to lead to, or, you don't. And you chose to not rip that Band-Aid off and to, just block the number.
Correct. I didn't know if he was calling and he was in a program to apologize, or if he was going to call and ask for something else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure with the jail how it works, if he was going to ask for money for the books, or if he was going to ask for bail money or a bondsman. I really honestly didn't want to hear what he had to say.
And at this point in this video, I want to make note of this. This is not in any way to go in on Tom or to go with the drama. That's not what this is about. This is just an opportunity that I never honestly thought we were going to have, where I give Matt the opportunity to share what that experience was like trying to help a guy when ultimately that would end bad. So here's the deal. We've done a bunch of reflecting. All of us have, I imagine. I know that I have. I can only imagine that Tom has as well, being in the situation that he's in currently, being incarcerated. Tom is a great guy when he's sober. I think back to the videos that we did, him and I together, prior to, him going down the path that he would go down, which, undoubtedly probably was full-fledged addiction. I say that not knowing that, but I know that, just like anybody could imagine. I think back to the skit videos that we did, the whole Tom dating series. I think back to the podcast-style videos that we were doing, Toilet Talk. Like, that shit was great. And then it would just fade away, and I hated that. But being in a situation where, some time has passed and some water's under the bridge, why was Tom calling Matt? Was it to apologize? Well, damn it, I'm curious. And I know that Matt's curious too now. So I think that what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to set up a visit with Tom. And look, who knows what comes of that? Will that be drama or seen as drama? Probably so. But let's look at the glass half full right here. Hey, we're giving Tom an opportunity to have the floor and say his piece, which could in turn lead to some support for himself while he's incarcerated if anybody chooses to do so. It doesn't have to be financial support. Maybe somebody just wants to offer a word. Hey, Tom, hold your head up. Get your shit together. That might go a long ways. I got to get ready to wrap this video up. Just know that very soon we're going to be trying to set up a visit with Tom, and hopefully we're able to share that with you. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to record it. Tom's going to know that as soon as he pops on and sees that it's Matt and I sitting there. But I think that some real good could come from this situation. Maybe some growth. Maybe the ability to showcase maturity. Because so many times in the past when shit would hit the fan, it would go a not so great way. Well, maybe in this particular way, everybody can wear a little pie on the face and be able to wipe that shit off and move forward. Matt, what do you say?
I think you're going down the right path. And like I said, we all are going to wear this a little bit, but it'd be nice to reach out to Tom, get his side of the story. That way it doesn't seem one-sided, and then we can all move forward from there.
It certainly sounds like there's a lot more left unsaid, and we'll leave that for now and see if we can get Tom on the line for this visit.
Absolutely.
Matt, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, anytime, Joe.
Thanks for everything that you've done for After Prison Show and the guests that I had on here, Tom especially. And I'll look forward to talking with you again real soon. Hey, folks, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did so, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you thought. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!